So, as we were saying earlier today, we are welcoming here our dear friend Yasco. Many of you already know Yasco. If not, you will get to know her with this beautiful message because she's very straight to the point, very eloquent with her explanations. Um, a teacher and a second mother to many of us, right, Yasco? And she's actually speaking from Brazil, and here we are in different places. I'm in my home, but we have all of us actually at the SSB as well, following this, and many of us through the web as well. Today, our Diasco will be speaking about lost opportunities, causes, and consequences. Who hasn't have who in the past didn't feel like, oh my gosh, that wasn't a lost opportunity? What's going to happen if we ever think about it, right, Yasko? That that lost opportunity will cause anything, right? On that note, with no further ado, I'll pass the word to you. You can share your, well, you're already working on the screen here, and we'll get back to with one another towards the end with some questions, some comments that we may have at the SSP or perhaps online as well for those of us who will be following us. Go ahead.
Um, so nice to see, not to see you, but to be with you via the internet, video talk. Is amazing. Blessing times that we are in. We can stay far away, is still together, right? So the theme that we're going to reflect upon tonight is lost opportunities, causes, and consequences. Well, I'm going to focus more as a reincarnation. What are the opportunities that we lose, we waste? What are the causes and the consequences? About 200,000 years ago or so, the modern man, the Homo sapiens sapiens, that means man who knows what he knows. He knows what he knows. He's conscious about this. So this sapiens emerged 200,000 years ago. So, and is a species endowed with very sophisticated, increased volume of brain, especially the neocortex, new cortex, and with trillions and trillions of synapses and neurons that allow this man to be equipped with intellectual memory capacity, to increase its capacity to continue thought, be analytical, associative, even abstract thinking. This man increases its memory capacity, what he does, any experience now becomes stored in this memory in the brain, which makes him with a very important tool to decide what to do with the experience. It's not any longer a volatile thing that passed by and you don't remember. Now you remember. So in Spiritism, when the man reached this level of Homo sapiens sapiens with continuous thought, with analytical thought, it calls that we will be named as spirit with a capital S. We no longer a spiritual principle like the other animals from the animal kingdom, which they have fragmented thought. So Emmanuel makes even us different from other animals. He called hominal as hominal kingdom, different from animal kingdom from other animals. Well, when we are in this stage, we, with this memory, intellectual capacity, now we are equipped with what we call free will. We can analyze the experience that we had during the day. We can decide if this was good or bad, if I want to repeat it. If this experience was good, but good only for me or good for my other people in the tribe, if I want to include them in this repetition, new edition, a little bit different of this experience, or be more sophisticated and say, well, I want to change this experience in order to not to include the rival tribes because I want to take advantage. So that's what we've been doing since then, you know. As we live in a community, in a higher society, our instinct of preservation, selfishness, we're gonna play for a long time, even when it's not necessary for us. We start to accumulate and rob, steal from the others the opportunity to have the same goods. So, but with the free will, it's not so free because now we have another law, we subject another law, which is the law of cause and effect, which is the check and balance, to see if my decision, I have to be responsible for my decisions and pay for that or amend for that. Is in this stage so that I am equipped with free will, with subject to the law of cause and effect, and I have all this brain resource as a structure, that reincarnation becomes the tool, the opportunity from God, granted by God for the evolution of the spirit. So I'm going to start to share my PowerPoint now to see here. Okay, so reincarnation, the divine opportunity for evolution of the spirit with S, capital S, is not so important for the other animals. It's very important for humankind because we reached this level of being responsible, having discernment, and decide if we want or don't want to keep going in this good path or bad path. So in this level that we are now, we're still not a good level. We're still more bad than good, more negative than positive. That this message from Chico Xavier that you see to the right becomes very important, a very good warning. God grants us every day a new page of life in the book of time, eternal time. What we put on it is our responsibility. Chico Xavier. So now this is, we can choose free will, but we have to respond for our decision. And in Matthew 16:27, say, and then he, God, shall give to everyone according to his deeds. Is the law of cause and effect. We have to respond for that. So about reincarnation, we are always thinking, can't we evolve being only in the spiritual world as a discarnate spirit? Why we have to come in this heavy body that although fantastic, it can just, have a malfunction, disintegrate to the powder, to the dirt, disappear that body. Why we have to use this corporeal body and come to this corporeal existence in order to evolve? So Kardec asked this question: what is the purpose of the incarnation of spirits? And the high spirit says, God imposes incarnation for the purpose of leading the spirits to perfection. So our destiny is perfection. We start simple and ignorant, but our end point is perfection. For some, it is an expiation, for others, a mission. Most of us is trials and expiation. However, to reach this perfection, they must undergo all the vicissitudes of corporeal existence, all the difficulties, all the limitations of the corporeal existence in order to us to exercise our virtues, taming down the negative vices by this suffering and pain that we have to go through this in the corporeal existence. There is another objective. Incarnation has a further objective, which is to place the spirit in situation where they can do their share in the work of creation. So, besides evolving emotionally, spiritually, we still have to be part of the creation. We have to serve our talent, our willingness to the great creation. So we are co-creator. So that is how many people leave some beautiful legacy, some institution that cares about many people, like Divaldo Franco, etc. Each one in its capacity. Then, in 166, how can a soul who did not reach perfection during its corporeal life complete the work of its purification to become a pure spirit? By submitting to the trial of a new existence. So we have to reincarnate many times. Incarnate, discarnate, reincarnate. So these many cycles, they say thousands or more of these cycles we are doing since we became the spirits with capital S. What does the spirit become after its final incarnation? So, don't need any more incarnation. A blessed spirit, a pure spirit. So, when we become a pure spirit, which we are so far away, now we don't need to incarnate any longer in a body, in a dense body. We stay there as a spirit, free spirit. Another important question, 264, which touches us a lot: what guides a spirit in choosing the trials it wants to bear? How I choose before I come to the physical body, what kind of trials I want to do it, to try. It chooses with the help of other spiritual guide, of course. It chooses what may serve as expiation according to the nature of this error, weaknesses, tendencies, and whatever might enable it to evolve more quickly. Some spirits may impose a life of poverty and hardship to bear it with courage, resilience, resignation. Others may wish to experience the temptation of fortune and power, which are much more dangerous than poverty because of the abuse and ill use and because of the passions they encourage. We are still in an animal, instinctive animal stage, so these old passions with the pleasure becomes, it surfaces and becomes almost an addiction. Still others may desire to be tested in the struggles they will have to bear in the contact of with vices. So if my vice is drug addiction, we are putting an environment not in the Nepal with the monks, but we're gonna be in a very heavy street in a big city or other type of vices. We are putting the correct environment in order to see if that we promise while before incarnating that we would like now to try because now my will is strong. So, okay, they say, okay, you prepared, so let's give you this chance. But they say, oh, this is too much for you. Not so much. Just try many incarnations to do it. But we feel so strong there that we say, no, give me all hardship that I know this time I won't fail. But we fail, right? We fail. Okay. Then, of course, if we have to incarnate, what are the obstacles to the progress, to the spiritual progress? Pride and selfishness. And the guides say, I am referring to moral progress, since intellectual progress is always occurring. So this self-interest that underneath is our pride and selfishness is the bad things, because we are so focused in our interest only. We can expand a little bit to our family, our tribe, but not the others. That is the great obstacle to our moral progress. In what way can Spiritism contribute to progress? By destroying the materialism, one of the sores of society. It enables people to comprehend where their true interests lie. So, if we are too focused in the material goods, power is also from this earth. Too much power, too much consumerism, material goods. So the egotistic tendency will only channel this, my focus, to the materialism and not to the spiritual growth. So that's what they say, too much materialism. We forget about us as a whole spirit, that we need to take care of the spiritual part of us, not only body. So I made this table with the question, why do we waste our reincarnatory opportunities? There are causes. No? As the Spirit said, the obstacles is pride and selfishness and all consequent moral vices. Envy, greed, rebellion, and intolerance. Those with pride, they won't amend with some kind of reasoning from someone that is wiser, from the boss, from the authority, nothing. Materialism, like I say, is too much focus in the material external appearance. And I put this third one, those who kill the cause, those fellow friends, family members, colleagues, who kills the ideals and potentials of the soul. There are so many around that make us waste the opportunity that is there for us. And we are the biggest enemy is the self-sabotage. We sabotage our potential. The the opportunities there, but perhaps no. So this me, like we say. The consequence is the negation of the spiritual being, the whole full spiritual being that we are. And all the things that the spiritists, the principles invite us to think about. The immortality of the soul, think us as immortal being. The law of cause and its effects throughout multiple reincarnation, we always have to think there is a effect, a consequence. The influence of the spirit, we are reckless sometimes. We think we are with our own power. No, but we have all the ones that are thinking like us, like drink like us, reckless like us, or we are accompanied by a good ones if we are in the level, in the vibration of the good spirits. We deny the communicability with spirits because it's only material. We deny it. We think they have no way to say so. It's only us. So when we lose someone, that becomes a very difficult situation. Because even if someone says, look, I dream with your mother, etc., it won't use this relief to consolation, even if they say, but it's there. So it's very difficult for the materialist people to go through these big challenges in life. And of course, they won't think about life in the spiritual world. They think it's they are doomed, that the body becomes a dirt, and that's it. So let's take advantage now. But in the moment that the thing is difficult, now the person gets lost in a vacuum. Yeah? So in this book, Divine Justice is part by Emmanuel and Xavier. They have like 5 books that were published around when was celebrating 100 years of the spiritist book. So in this book, chapter 49, By Ourselves, Emmanuel said, when the death of the earthly body leads us to the society of spirits, the discarnate level, we are often surrounded by pure love, immersing ourselves in divine light. We have our familiar spirits, superior spirits that are there to embrace us. All the affections which time has not erased from our memory resurface, we become aware of, unexpectedly involving us in the melody of ideal happiness. However, it's beautiful. Almost always, woe with us. It's not that beautiful, that calm. We recognize ourselves in the festival of perfect joy. So there is joy, but we cannot see it. We cannot interact with this level of joy because we are moving this mud. Like André Luiz, people were there. His mother was there. Clarence was there, but he couldn't see it. He was in that mud, surrounded with people in the same level, insulting the solar chariot. So we rebel. We don't want to see this light. The more kindness shines around, the more the weight of frustration oppresses us. We get upset. We regret the fights, rejected that we didn't use it, and the opportunity is lost. We deplore the past rebellion in the face of the calls for good that would have earned us our merit, and the deliberate avoidance of the testimonies of humility that would have provided us with renewal. So while incarnate, we push away all the opportunities, all the good thing that is around, all the opportunities that was for us to be witness, to witness it, witness our humility. But we, with our pride, with our selfishness, we push away. And we lost the opportunities for renewal. That's what they said. So I put here a table just to summarize what are in what area in the reincarnatory process we wasted. In the physical body, of course, we waste all the opportunity that is there, the warnings for a good diet, good care of the physical body, exercise, etc. And we end up either in excesses or deficiencies. Emotions. Wow, we should take care. People say emotions have a big influence in the health of physical body. Anger, indignation, hurt, resentment, victimization slowly will eaten up certain organs that are uh, more doomed for that to suffer the effect of this type of emotions, like the stomach with the gastrite, the heart attack, the difficulties, pulmonary breathing difficulties, metabolic, etc., digestion, a lot. Plus the mental health is all, you know, jeopardized by these strong emotions. Cases. André Luiz was a big example of that. He said he was not a passive suicide, but he didn't take care of the body, drank a lot, eat wrong things, got syphilis, so was reckless. And most of us, not only André Luiz, most of us, we can get in one of these challenges that we're not following. Moral and spiritual care. Well, we are supposed to combat pride, selfishness, envy, greed, power over brothers and sisters, etc. And to empower humility, acceptance, resilience, indulgence, tolerance, peace. Are we doing these things? So, what is the balance? Where is the balance towards what? The good, the combating the negative, or still lacking the part that we have to exercise, humility, etc. So, in terms of cases, who uses well-used opportunities? Opportunities well used. We're going to talk a little bit. The prodigal son, the younger one, is one that once he realized, he took fully the opportunity. The blind Bartimaeus, we're going to talk about. Saul of Tarsus. Wow, he was a murderer. But what he became after he met Jesus. The Jerônimo de Mendonça, those who doesn't know, was a very spiritist that had a horrible illness, but still used this illness and to propagate the spiritism. And he was carried in a cart, going everywhere. Lost opportunities. Who lost? The older son in the prodigal parable, Publio Lentulus, today Emmanuel, And we're going to talk about Octavio, the medium in the book, The Messengers. Call for co-creation. Remember that one of the objectives of the reincarnation, is serve as co-creator. We have to answer for that. Material and moral progress for the common good. Francis of Assisi is an example. Chico Xavier is an example. Divaldo Franco, a good example. Eurípides Barçanufo, which create a educational school, Allan Kardec School, in Minas Gerais. Okay, let's talk about some cases. Publio Lentulus, in 2000 years ago, is a book dictated by the Spirit Emmanuel to Francisco Cândido Xavier. I think many of you, of us, read this book. He was a very powerful, 2000 years ago, senator, Roman senator, that had as wife, Livia, a very high spirit, and had a child, a girl called Flavia, which had some skin problem, probably lepra or Hansen disease. And he was in Rome, but they said, well, the air, the climate, the weather in nearby Galilee, it was perhaps it's better for you, for the health of your daughter. So they moved to Jerusalem, and and more towards Galilee, near where he heard there was a prophet, a very nice, good one, that was promoting some healing. So he, because he's a very pride senator, he said, dismiss this, the power of this prophet by Jesus. But his wife begged him for him to go there, speak to the master, to the prophet, in order to have the cure of Flavia. So because of his wife, he decided to go. But because of his pride, he went like in the end of the day, when it was already getting dark. He didn't go with his garment. He went like anonymously. He didn't want to be recognized as the big senator, what he was doing there without any of this entourage. He went there because he around the lake, because he heard the prophet Jesus of Nazareth would go around at that time. So he went there. When he arrives there, that's what Emmanuel said. He heard about. Publio Lentulus had no difficulty in identifying that impressive creature, but waves of feeling roamed in his heart. He wanted to speak, but his chest was suffocating and oppressed. So he knelt it without his will. It was then when, in a gesture of sweet and sovereign kindness, the gentle Nazarene walked towards him and placed his right hand affectionately to his forehead, exclaimed in enchanting language, which Publius understood perfectly, giving him the unforgettable impression that the word was from spirit to spirit, from heart to heart. was not in any of this other language, Aramaic, Hebrew, Latin, Greek. No. Heart to heart, spirit to spirit. Oops. Sorry. Okay. And Jesus says, Senator, why are you looking for me? It would be better if you sold me out publicly and at the brightest hour of the day, so that you could acquire at once and for the rest of your life the sublime lesson of faith and humility. Of course, he could not do that. Yes, I don't come looking for the superficial and proud statesman who only centuries of suffering can lead to my father's lap. I come to answer the supplication of a wretched and oppressed heart. And yet, my friend, it's not your feeling that saves the leprous little daughter who is helpless by the signs of the world, because you still have selfish and human reason. It is, yes, your wife's faith and love, because faith is divine. So it's point blank. Imagine what he felt. And he continues, Jesus, after long years of deviating from the good path, along the path of blatant errors, today you find a reference point for the regeneration of your entire life. There is a turning point. It's the opportunity. It is, however, up to you to take advantage of it now or in a few millennia. That's what took to him to become Emmanuel. A glorious minute sounds for your spirit at this moment. If you manage to use your freedom so that it will be in your heart for now on a song of love, humility, and faith in an indeterminable hour of redemption within eternity. Did Publio Lentulus use the opportunity? Imagine meet personally Jesus, and he felt how special that gentle Nazareth was, the power that he had over him. But as soon as the meeting's finished, he was going towards home. His pride become very big. He said, who do you think I am? I am the powerful senator from home. So when he arrived home, he almost denied that he met Jesus, that he promised to heal his daughter, and she was healed when he arrived. So Publius lost the opportunity, divine opportunity. 2,000 years took to him, very difficult incarnations, in order to fix what he could have taken that minute and change all the route of his journey. But the other one, Saul of Tarsus, he was very good. He was very bad, not bad in a sense to be bad, but he was in the wrong route because he was very diligent to protect the law of Moses. He became very, very severe prosecutor of the Christians that was putting down all the order of Moses' law. But once he met Jesus, not even personally, imagine, was just as a spirit, because by then Jesus had already crucified, but was enough for Saul of Tarsus. So as is described in the Acts of Apostle by Luke, or in Paul Stephen by Emmanuel is there is this. I'm gonna read the encounter of Saul with that light as he neared Damascus, because he was going from Jerusalem, going up north to get Ananias, which he wanted to kill him because he was the one that converted his beloved, how to say, noiva, person that he loved, to Christianity, to Jesus City. So he was very upset. He already killed, or ordered to be killed, her brother, Stephen, or Jesiel. But then he said, as he neared Damascus, he was after Ananias because he heard he was there. On his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, Saul of Saul, why do you persecute me? Who are you, Lord? Oh, Lord, he already recognized was a Lord. Saul asked, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. He replied, now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. For 3 days he was blind and did not eat or drink anything. Well, he didn't know it was supposed to be only 3 days. It could be 1 day, 3 days, 30 days. But he followed Jesus' order. Go and enter in the city. There you're going to find an inn, and you stay there until the sign comes. And then the sign came by Ananias, because the Lord appeared during his sleep and said, go, this man, Saul, is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings and to the people of Israel. I will show him how much he must endure for my name. Of course, Ananias in the beginning said, are you sure, Lord? This is the one that is coming to kill me, to persecute me. You want me to go there face to face? He said, yes, because he is my chosen face to proclaim my name to the Gentiles, to the kings, to the people of Israel. How much he endured in his name? In Corinthians 2, chapter 11, 24 to 26, he lists, Saul lists all the endurance that he had to go through by propagating Jesus' teaching. 5 times I received from Jews, from his people, right? The 40 lashes minus 1, because they could not give 40. They have to give 39. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was pelted with stones. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I spent a night and a day in the open sea. I have been in danger from rivers, in danger from bandits, in danger from my fellow Jews, in danger from Gentiles. So he was stoned from everywhere. In danger in the city, in danger in the country, in danger in the sea, at the sea, and in danger from false believers. So he suffered a lot, but still he was faithful to the word of Jesus. He was very faithful. So he used the opportunity that arrived to him fully. The other case is the blind Bartimaeus from Jericho. He was also an example that once he heard the voice of Jesus coming there, he called and changed completely his life. Look at that, how Mark says. Then they came to Jericho. It was a group, Jesus and the group of the disciples and the group of the followers. As Jesus and his disciples, together with the large crowd, were leaving the city, a blind man, Bartimaeus, which means son of Bartimaeus, he didn't have even name, was sitting by the roadside begging. Look at that, his position, passive situation, sitting there, blind, roadside, begging. He had this clothes that was given by the temple, and that is the identity for him uh, being for him to be a beggar. He's allowed to be a beggar while he had escaped. So he was there passive, but when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, Jesus, son of David, have mercy of me. And those that were around said, come on, no? Be quiet. Why are you shouting like that? Then he went much louder. Son of David, have mercy on me. Until Jesus stopped and said, call him. Jesus didn't went there. He said, call him. So the same man, crowd that were before saying, shut up, now they went there. Cheer up on your feet. He is calling you. So they guide him to Jesus. So you see how people that are around us, once they are some block in our life, sometimes they are our helpers, the same people. Throwing his cloak aside, he jumped to his feet and came to Jesus. When he put his cloak aside, cape means he had such a faith that Jesus would cure him, that he didn't need anymore this identity of a person that they need to beg. So Jesus said, what do you want me to do for you? Rabbi, I want to see, because he needs to be sure what he wants. Go, your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus along the road. Now he's not any longer in a passive mode. He was full of certainty that he had to follow Jesus along the road, not in roadside anymore. So he changed. So we ask, how many of us do that? Have such a certainty and change the route of our journey. This is an example of using and take advantage of the opportunities fully. And here, very quickly, some cases in the Bible, Zacchaeus, which also took a great advantage. He was the tax collector. When Jesus said, tonight I have to be in your house. Oh, he changed completely his life. They say he became the 13th apostle after replacing Judas. The woman caught adultery also when she got the forgiveness. People say that he was curing, healing, taking care of the ones that were in a bad shape, like she was once, and became completely Jesus follower. Peter denied Jesus 3 times in a very crucial time, but he had to recompose and became the head of Jesus' church. Among the 10 with leprosy that were healed by Jesus, only one took advantage, came back, and was grateful. The other ones start to be in a bar, in some other negative situation. Judas, when he saw what he has done, the consequence, his guilt, instead, like Peter, to recompose and become positive and follow Jesus, he commit suicide. Same situation of denial of Jesus, betraying Jesus, but one recomposed and became a true apostle, and the other one got a more of the, how to say, expiation, new expiation. Very quickly in the messengers, we have this case which makes is very good example for the mediums. And he says, uh, saying to André Luiz, I then prepare myself for 30 consecutive years, 30 years to return to Earth for a mediumistic task, eager to settle my accounts and achieve something higher. There was no lack of truly sublime lessons, nor holy stimuli to my imperfect heart. The Minister of Communication provided me with all the facilities, and above all, 6 friendly entities provided the greatest resource to benefit my success. They will be the protector. What he did, single at the age of 20, I should receive these 6 friends, orphans, who work hard for me in Nosso. So Nosso already granted these 6 friends who would arrive in my circle or as orphans. My debt to these entities became very great, and the measure would not only constitute a pleasant rescue for me, they would make certain that he would follow the plan, but also to guarantee the of triumph in the service of assistance to them. My relatives took me, so the incarnate relative, took me to a spiritist group with excellent evangelic orientation, where my faculties could be put at the service of the needy and suffering. However, I lacked the qualities of a worker and faithful companion. I had generous friends from higher plane who made themselves visible. He was a medium to my eyes. I received messages full of love and wisdom, and however, I fell anyway, obeying recklessness and vanity. The wife to whom he was supposed to continue single, the wife to whom I had tied up solely out of undeniable appetites, was a creature much inferior to my spiritual condition and attracted a monstrous entity connected to her to take the whole role of my son. Imagine. I relegate 6 loving children, the orphans, to the street, whose coexistence would contribute decisively to my moral security. But my partner and my son took it upon themselves to take revenge. He didn't need to pass by this. They both tormented me until the end of my existence. When I returned here to the spiritual world, barely having turned 40, now by syphilis, alcohol, heartbreak, without building anything in the field of good. So lost opportunity with all the plan. In this book, Sex and Destiny, there is an institute called Sister Souls. It's a hospital, teaching hospital, to re-educate those that didn't do well in the sexual part area. 82 years of existence, it housed an oscillating population of 5 to 6,000 spirits. Look at the inventory. Victorious in the reincarnatory commitments, only 18%. Those that they had all the study, the understanding to go to reincarnate, but then they failed. They came back, the victorious 18%, improved 22%, very imperfectly improved 26%, burdened by regrettable painful debts 34%. So most of the people, even though they were instructed for the reincarnation and to be strong, they fail. But they say, the assistant said, but that no one on earth can evaluate the expectation, tenderness, effort, and sacrifice with which disembodied, discarnate friends cheer for the triumph and partial improvement of their loved ones in service of. So they all are waiting, please be victorious, please win it. You're gonna be okay. No. So, but they say, on the other hand, they praise the praise the prize award to the winners. Apprentices who graduate through the substantial use of resources provided by the organizations are honored with admirable job opportunities in higher resorts according to the desires they express. So it's not this paradise, it's work, honorable work, job. That all of them, those that failed after being sufficiently instructed, return to their earthly home, back to reincarnate, where they reincarnate as far as possible in the environments in which they failed, in the blood teams that they impose losses on them or that suffer the damage from them. So they said the majority of the time we return to the same familial group in order to pay back, to fix it. In this Zen tour and the Cave of Destiny, an Arabic tale says that there was a man called Zentur, a Muslim, who rightfully fulfilled his religious duties. He was very diligent to fulfill. And on one time, as he was going up to the mosque, he came across a beggar who asked him for alms. And Zentur promptly took out a coin from his stomach and gave it to that beggar and sat down on the step, began to talk, consoling him, helping him. Very good talk. Seemed perfect guy. Then the beggar turns into Elohim, a higher spirit, an angel like, to tell him, I'm not a beggar. I am a messenger of Allah, and I came to the world to test human kindness. And to the people who were good to me, I could grant them a great wish, the right to stay 5 minutes inside the cave of destiny with a book where all the names of the inhabitants of the earth were written, with their past, present, and future, including yours. In these 5 minutes, Zentur would have the opportunity to erase his future. He could make his future milder, more pleasant, because he was given this opportunity, and rewrite it with a razor and a plume. What he did? Okay. So he opened the book, letter A. Instead, go to Z directly to his issue, business, not A. He saw Abdul's name and remembered that he was the judge who had sentenced him to prison for not paying a debt. He took revenge, writing a future of difficulties. What not his business? Why he did go there? In the letter S, he came across another well-known name, Samira, who was his fiancée, who, embarrassed by his arrest, broke off the engagement. He took revenge, wrote a bad future. Then he reached to letter Z, where his name was, and saw that this too recent action against Abdul, against Samira, was already there. So his future, because it was of revenge, his future was dark. So he was frightened by his future of great difficulties. But they said, I have a pen, and they raised it, and he calmed down and took the race. But when he went to raise his future, his 5 minutes were up. Oh, lost opportunity. Time clock is ticking. The whole time we are here dormant, engaged in some kind of business that is not hours. And our 5 minutes is gone. In the book Genesis, chapter 18, the new generation is the time has come, separating the tares from the wheat. Everything will be now separate. We are in a transition to the regeneration world. So what they say, for mankind to be happy on earth, it is necessary that only good spirits, incarnated and discarnate, who dedicate themselves only to good, should populate it. So earth now will have mostly people with good intention, not good totally, but good intention. When the time has come, great emigration will occur among those who inhabit the earth. Those who do evil for the sake of evil, not yet touched by the feeling of good, those very bad ones, who no longer worthy of the transformed planet will be excluded, because otherwise they would once again cause disturbance and confusion and constitute an obstacle to progress, the progress of the ones that has a good intention. They will, they will atone for the hardening of their hearts in some inferior world. Others will still backward terrestrial race, equivalent to words of that order. So if we are more primitive, we go to the primitive word, like the people from the Capella came 15 years ago, 15,000 years ago to planet Earth from Capella. So they will, to which they will take the knowledge they have acquired with the mission to make them address. So they will be a tutor almost of these primitive beings, but still have to live this proud, pride, selfishness, power, etc. Their spirits will replace them, who will make justice, peace, and fraternity reign within them. What a beautiful planet will be planet Earth, right? No big hardship here. The new generation is distinguished by generally precocious intelligence and wisdom, together with the innate feeling of good and spiritualistic beliefs. We are seeing already those kids. It's going to be a diversity, all mixed, all different culture, but together. It's going to be a harmony. Since early time, they are going to be eco-conscious. They will take care about the earth, not waste, not deprive, to take care of the resource. And fraternity. This Ubuntu is African philosophy. I am because we are. Fraternity. It will not be composed, so this earth now, exclusively of eminently superior spirits, but of those who, having already progressed, are predisposed to assimilate all progressive ideas and able to support the movements of regeneration. What, on the contrary, distinguishes backward spirits is first the revolt against God, as they refuse to recognize any power superior to human powers. We have some example around us. The instinctive propensity for degrading passions, for anti-fraternal feelings of selfishness, pride, envy, jealousy. Finally, attachment to everything material, sensuality, cupidity, avarice. When the earth is free from them, men will walk without obstacles towards a better future that is reserved for them, even in this world as a reward for their efforts and their perseverance. So we're going to still be the planet Earth with these struggles, but any longer with this emotional thing of rebelliousness, etc. We will understand the people around us will support us and understand and provide all the relief, all the peaceful environment. So, friends, it is possible, right? The true spirits can be recognized by their moral transformation and by the efforts they employ to dominate their bad instincts. The incarnation is the opportunity to dominate our bad instinct. We don't need to be pure. We just have to make effort to be better. Like Paul says in Galatians 6:10, therefore, as we have opportunity, let's do good to all people, but especially to those who belong to the family of believers. Like Kardec says, sometimes don't go to those that don't believe in anything. Go to those that are more receptive to the word of Jesus, talk about God, etc. And great opportunities for all of us. Reconcile with your adversary while there is time. Jesus. Because, the biggest expiation is in the relationship area that we terribly fail. So that's it. Thank you for your attention, friends.
Thank you, Yasco, for this amazing presentation here in showing us not only the what Spiritism brings to us, but also the actual consequences of it, right? The good, the bad, and what we can do in the not only for the self, but for the individual, excuse me, but also those around us as well, right? What is to what can be done, and I think one of the beauties of this as well is that God that never ceases to amaze us. That even though when there are bad choices, when there are opportunities that are lost, He uses that for goodness, right? And to perhaps give us other chances that will be even more, perhaps a little bit more difficult, but even ever more fruitful if that opportunity, that new opportunity, obviously is utilized, right, or well taken, right? So thank you so much for this, because it is a tough moment in our lives when we look back and we realize that I should have done, right. We often don't think about what we often think about the things that we did wrong, and sometimes we forget about the things that we did not do, right. That is also something really to think about with this message too. So thank you. um, I would like to just share a couple of things here, with us here. Chris saying, Yasco. Hi,
Hi.
Yasco. And then I have also Alba saying, so happy to see you, dear Yasco. And I think I am certain that Alba is speaking for all of us here. So it's good to have you here. It's good to be with you in this setting, right, where we're working together and harmonizing ourselves together. So thank you for this. Abby saying, hi, Yasco. Great hearing you as well. So
Hi, Abby.
right, all the highs, all the celebration for us to be
You
here.
see you.
Yep, yep. What I would like to do at this point, I know Agnes is at the center there, so I'll read for one message, one question comment here, Agnes, and then I'll pass the word to you. We'll kind of
Can
to
I see
circulate
the
like that.
people that are asking
I
in the audience?
I don't we don't have
No?
the camera set up there, but we
But
will.
we will try.
Together with Agnes.
But
Yeah,
we will try. Hi, yeah, Yasco.
we can. What
Well,
I
we
was
will
gonna.
try. If somebody has a question here, maybe you can come over here
Yes,
Right.
on
yes.
the podium so
Right.
we can so
So,
you
all
can
right,
see the
you can
answer.
stay there. You can stay there with us, Agnes. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me read one from here from online first, and then I'll pass the word to you, Agnes. All right. So, Daniel, with the first one. Hi, Yasco. Is there a way to quantify the moral weight of a lost opportunity, especially when it involves potential benefits for others, without falling into paralyzing regret or dangerous self justification?
I think it's a tough quantification. When we realize, they say the moral suffering is much more excruciating than the physical pain. That's what people say. But of course, in order to feel the pain, the moral, the opportunity for the moral evolution, you have to be aware. We have to repent. If you those that don't repent, they continue to be very happy the way they are. Those are the spirits that are bad. They are not touched by the goodness, and they want to continue to be. But once we feel guilt, the guilt is tough. This feeling of guilt is because you realize that you lost the opportunity, you did wrong, and that was a big consequence, not only to that particular person, but all the people around that person. Imagine if you made that person lose some position in the job. What are the consequences? Not only to the employee, but to the family, to the education of the children, to his pride. If he's not so strong, he may go to depression. There's all different ramification. And when we are incarnate, probably we cannot see this thing because we don't go to this life of these people to see what happened from my act. But once you are free spirit, you are aware what is the extent of the damage you made by doing the bad or not doing the good. Because we have opportunities to do the good, to be certain, have a certainty to say, no, it was not his fault. But if you get mute on the top of the fence, you let the wrong person to be prosecuted. So not to do bad is not enough. We have to do the good that we are capable of doing. But only the person can evaluate the weight. And it depends on the level of awareness, guilty feelings, how much the pride was away already in order for me to be sensitive. Because if the pride self is high, I'm completely shielded. I don't see it, feel anything, right? So it's only the person, the level of awareness of that spirit that will evaluate. Of course, he's going to, once he realizes, he's going to be so upset beyond what is supposed to be. But now comes the good spirit say, look, son, I also made a mistake, but I'm here. Like Peter. Peter wept when he realized what he did to Jesus. That pain was so, but he used that pain, that feeling, guilt feeling, to console people that would come to him saying, you don't know what I am, like Mary of Magdalene. You don't know what I have done. And he says, And you don't know what I did to my master. I was the one that lived with him day and night for 3 years. He trusted me, and I failed. I denied. So who am I to say that you don't deserve? Jesus gave me the opportunity to recompose my life. So you will have to. So that was his point of consolation. He could console other people because he passed through a painful situation. So as we are, now, how many people use their own example to say, look, everyone makes mistakes, but because we are all imperfect, but to each one of us is granted a new opportunity. That's why it's the divine mercy to give the reincarnation again chances, right? So only us can measure.
Thank you, Yasco. Very well said. Yes, and this they'll depend on the situation and the level of awareness, right? Thank you. Agnes, anyone from the SSP would like to ask a question?
Anybody? Come on. Paula? Come on, Paula. Miss Paula.
Paula, come, Paula.
So Yas can see you too.
Yeah, I want to see Paula.
We go behind the box. I feel like I'm stepping into a time machine.
Hi, Paula. How are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah, same here. And I loved your talk. Very well researched, as typical. I also love your paintings on the wall and your blouse. Now I'll ask a question. Yeah, I'm here with some friends, and we're working on the topic of free will. So when you started, I understood that we acquired the free will when we became Homo sapiens sapiens. Now, is this a capacity that exists in a relatively the same way throughout our life? And what happens when we make wrong choices and start to slip off the path and get engulfed with our addictions? Is it still there to the same degree, but it gets obscured? Do you see where I'm going? You can figure this out.
So the free will cannot occur without the intellectual brain capacity, because you have to have memory capacity, intellectual capacity. So you won't see this free will in other animals or humans before being Homo sapiens sapiens, the wise man, the modern man. So only when you have the intellectual, cerebral capacity in order to check the information, the experience, start to sense the pain, that pain in the others was consequence of its act. So this is a slow thousands, 2,000, 3,000 years of development. But this is also us experiencing pain, joy from the people that are surrounding us. So it becomes important when we start to live in community. When the agricultural revolution happens in the Mesopotamia area, say 20,000 years ago, because when you are nomad, who cares? You have only one or two people with you. If you don't share that little thing that you got in the field, a seed or something, or don't share correctly the piece of the bird that you or fish, whatever, there's not such a big consequence but when you start to be in the community becomes rich, and you have to share the goods, the agricultural goods, etc. Now I say, why I should share this? You have the free will not to share it with the rival or the neighbor tribe. It's not even a rival yet, it's a neighbor. I want to my family. So you want to store beyond what you need and even jeopardize their culture. So you have slowly you will develop the ethics, the free will. You in check and balance. You see how good, how bad it was, and keep storing this experience and say, I no longer want to choose it this way because I know the consequence. I know that I gain a little bit, but the pain imposed to that was so bad, you know. So you slowly, the society now in group, they start to develop, to share, to develop the ethics, moral values, not only the individual, as a society. And the culture slowly changed. If the culture before was first for me and grab, etc., and kill, I can kill in order to get, to defend my family, etc. We're doing still now. What 100 years ago was permitted was even a way to celebrate. Now, you cannot accept anymore. You know, to kill the animals, to the gladiators in front in order for the do. So it's a slow process. And individually, what was okay for me, and I chose this way, like abortion. When the person 20, 30 years after say, I commit that horrible act, I don't know how to, well, but you're not any longer that person 20, 30 years ago. You evolved morally. So now that you're not any longer that person, you won't, if it was for you, you won't make an abortion anymore. Because you change, we get better. Now you help others by illustrating your case and help other people, teenagers, whatever, not to do that, or to help to rescue some babies or whatever. So what was okay when we were teenagers was not any longer now, but we cannot kill ourselves now. This was a choice there with the check and balance. Now we know that this was not correct. I won't do anymore. So it's a slow process. Very slow. This free will and the check and balance law. Yeah.
Thank you, Yasco. This is a great reminder that we're learning, right? We're learning even with our mistakes,
It's
right?
a dynamic.
Right. It's not without the lost opportunity, without the error, perhaps we would never learn. And I think
No.
that shows the grace
It's
of God.
the failure is part
Of
of
the process.
the victory, the
Very well.
success.
Very well. Thank
Yeah.
you. So let me read one more here. Well, I think I see Paula there. So, Paula, would you like to?
Yeah, I just want to clarify to make sure I got it. I understand the moral evolution, that as we have more experience in community and we make different choices, we get better and more evolved. I think I'm still trying to parse out the free will skill in itself. Is that a relative constant, or is that evolving hand in hand with all these moral situations? I think that's what I'm getting
It
from you.
goes hand in hand, talk about also about the community we're in. So we may go quicker if we are inserted in one community. Imagine if you are in a community with people that are wiser, like the monks, the religious people, versus be in some favela not, but in some streets of gangsters or whatever. It's a different moral. You may go slower because it's,
I'm
you know.
sorry. So free will is a growing, evolving capacity that I guess at the point you become a pure spirit, you don't really need it anymore.
No, that's
Okay,
it.
I got
That's it. Yeah, you don't need any more free will because you are all in that spiritual purity, right? Yeah, it's exactly what Paula said. As we become purer and purer, we don't need to apply our free will anymore.
Thank you, Yasco. I'll read one more here as we're getting closer to time here. Instead of dwelling on what if, how can you shift your focus to what now and actively create new opportunities based on the lessons learned from those you missed?
Yeah, what if it it delays? I think it's a waste of time. This what if? What if what? You know, I think it's better to say what it says. What now? But it's very difficult because we are still very, how to say, insecure. But it is because you cannot change the past. What has been done has been done. You cannot change any longer the past. What Chico says, well, the past you cannot change, but you can change today, make it different. So tomorrow there is a different future. So I think the what if is an exercise that is good for a certain extent in order for you to be analytical. Well, if I had taken this route, that would be the end point. So now, today, let's take a different route. So it's good for an analytical thing for you to come with some summary of that situation and say, well, next time is not the route because I know I did the exercise and I saw the difference. But not to be stuck in this what if, because it's that like teenager does a lot of it, but it's insecurity. It's insecurity, right? Wow. And then we got so stuck that we don't take any longer any any action. Don't take action because now with the what if you got stuck, which is not the case. We have to be a little bit adventurous and not to say, well, if I bump my head, I know there is a wall there, but I have to learn from the failure, but in a positive way. We are all imperfect beings. We need some merciful people around. Of course, not always that we find the merciful people around. They have stones in their hand, but it's part of the imperfect world. Imperfect world, imperfect people, nasty but good ones too, together. So, but we evolve. It's going to be wonderful. People that will be in the same level with goodness in heart. That's what the new generation, regeneration world will be. Will be calm because people will understand, not just stone us.
Thank you, Yasco. Agnes, anyone else would like to ask a question there? I do have one more from here, but we can. No one else?
Not anymore. We're good.
All right, thank you. And we'll then close with Alba. And she says, how can we recognize the opportunities in our current reincarnation since we are called to be creators, co-creators in the work of the good?
Well, I always say, when the first time we pass that idea or pass some words, I may dismiss it. When the second time the same thing passed by me, I said, wow, I heard this before. I saw this before. But the third time, I better do something. It is a warning. It's something that say, look, and then comes some tendencies that you have abilities to do that, appear someone that needs you to listen to them. Yeah? So I think we know when it's for us. When the third time you dismiss it is because you want really to dismiss it. And the co-creator, I think the work always comes. It's not the big work. We tend to think it's gonna be big work, big missionary work like Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco. No, it's within our family members a little bit, to help some family members to go to the correct route, to help in this way, put a block here to not go to the wrong place. Sometimes it's a small task, small task, and just to remove the small roadblocks, little stones, which is the main condition that we stumble. It's not the big stones that we block that we see in front of us. We go around, but the tiny ones is the one that we trip and fall. If there is someone that remove that, smooth that road for you, warn you, you don't fall, at least not so many times. So those are the ones that when the person smooth your life to be easier, smoother. It's a beautiful thing to have a friend that do this for you, mothers, sisters.
Yep. Thank you, Yasco. This is extremely important. I just want to like to highlight before we finalize here something that you said at the beginning of the talk as well. In that, obviously our free will, even after we acquire, it is for sure limited based on our moral understanding or intellectual understanding of life, right? But most certainly, when we discover also there are causes and effects, right? And especially the effects. And I think if we can, I am quite sure that I can, all of us share to a degree this feeling of gratitude towards spiritism when we dive outside of the the material life, right? Just understanding ourselves. And I'm not saying being a materialistic person in terms of buying things, but when we dive outside the idea that we are just a physical body, that we are a spiritual being, that we will reincarnate over and over and over, following or giving continuation what we have started in the past, right? Good or bad, right? That gives us certainly a different perspective in life, right? When we look at free will, because the word is so freeing, so beautiful. Free will, I can do whatever I
It's
want, right?
not that so free.
Right. It's not just
Because if it's an expiation situation, if you come with some physical, mental limitation, what is your free will?
right,
It's very limited.
right.
So it's free in some way, but not that free because it's imposed some limitations.
Right, right. So, I to finalize, I would like to say thank you for this beautiful reminder, because this really, again, it brings us back to the idea of living a better life. I'm not going to say righteous because we're not perfect yet, and I
No.
think the righteousness, leads us to believe that we ought to be perfect. No, I mean, do our best, right? Weigh the consequences if we can, even if we miss once or twice or three times, then hopefully
Doesn't matter.
the fourth time we're going to say, wait a minute, let me take a step back here and make a
Each
better
of our little fault 3 or 4 times, we have eternity for the billions of things that we
right,
have.
right. But thank you for this reminder. I would like to propose then for us to say our final prayer. Stay here with us, Yasco, and all of those at the SSB. Thank you for watching. Those who are watching us online as well, and in the future, share with us, your comments, your ideas about this, and let us say our final prayer so we can bid ourselves farewell. Dear Master Jesus, dear Creator, we would like to give thanks for this amazing reminder of the consequences of life, of the opportunities that you have given us. And perhaps we have misused them or not used them at all. We're grateful to understand that your grace will lead us into new opportunities, new beginnings, new continuations of life that all can be used to our perfections. Guide us in this walk of life, wherever we may be, whomever we may be with, that we can do our best. As Joanna de Angelis reminded us before we started today from the book Happy Life, let us not allow ourselves to fall into temptations of the current ideal of the world, where things that are being done day in and day out become a norm in our lives. Let us do the best to weigh the consequences of our actions and choose the best. We also ask that you guide the minds and hearts of our family members, our friends, so that they can also partake with this new ideal or this reminder with us today. Guide the mind and heart of our dear Yasco, who worked so well to bring this reminder to us. And may each one of us go back to our homes, to our daily tasks, our daily lives, a better person. Wishing everyone a wonderful weekend, and why not to say a productive week that is about to start. Put into practice what we have seen today. We thank you, and so be it.